Chris Brophy, musically obsessed. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed with vinyl CDs and cassettes. Chris Brophy, musically obsessed. Oh yeah!
So happy Wednesday, everybody. I've got two albums to show you that I received from Real Gone Music. And they're both really, really interesting, unique albums. And the first one I'm going to show you, I have to thank Americana Sam, also known as Sam St. John. If you don't know Sam's channel, I'll leave a link below. Go check his channel out. Really cool guy, very knowledgeable about music. And as in the name, Americana Sam, you know what you're going to get on there. Americana, country, folk, but he covers other genres as well. But go check out Sam. So he sent me a message the other day, or this was like a couple weeks ago. He's like, do you know this album? If not, you need to get this album, Chris. This is the Real Gone Music reissue of the album Ghost Ballads by Dean Gitter. He said, you're really going to like this. And he was right. This is what the back cover looks like. He's like, Chris, there's still some of the smoky vinyl version. Get it while you can. Sam, I got it. Thank you. So let me read to you. I printed out a little bit of history about this album because I wasn't going to be able to remember all this stuff. This album came out in 1957 on the Riverside label. And it says here, takes you back to merry old England for a collection of 12 ballads concerning the supernatural, many of them taken from Francis James Child's legendary book, The English and Scottish Popular Ballads. I love when artists go back and dig into those old folk songs and revive them. I love this. Lustily sung by folklorist and balladeer Dean Gitter. And that's what it is. It's an album of just this guy, Dean Gitter, which I don't really know too much about him. I'm going to have to research him. And an acoustic guitar, and that's it. Singing these English, folk, Scottish ballads about ghosts and the supernatural. Just a really, really unique album. Anne Boleyn, The Phantom Stagecoach, Skin and Bones, The Unquiet Grave, Finnegan's Wake, Sweet William's Ghost, The Flying Dutchman, and it goes on from there. There's 12 songs on here. Love the retro packaging. I wish they would have included some sort of inner sleeve. It did come in a polyline sleeve, but it would have been nice to maybe have a little bit more information, but the vinyl is beautiful. So I've been spinning that. The other album I picked up, I just happened to click on this because the woman on the front cover was beautiful. I'm talking about Lynn Christopher. I'm like, all right, I got to hear some samples from this album. This came out in 1973. Now, let me read to you the hype sticker, JC. This 1973 cult classic, first reissue of any kind, featuring the first recordings, now listen to this, of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons from Kiss. So this was actually the album that people first heard the voices of Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. Now, they sing background vocals on a couple of the songs, but if you listen carefully and put your ear to the speaker, not too close, kids, you can hear their voices. Supposedly, Peter Criss plays some percussion on this album too. I'm not sure. Another beautiful reissue from Real Gone Music. There's the back cover. This one is on this beautiful blue vinyl. And this one did come with an inner sleeve. Let me show you that. With some more information. This would have been nice to have in the Dean Gitter album, but I will let that one go, Real Gone Music. Let me read to you a little bit about this. It says here, and I didn't know a lot of this stuff. There's a song on here called Take Me With You that's been sampled by LL Cool J, 50 Cent, The Game, Did not know that. Really cool song, cool bass line. I can see why it was sampled. This was sort of like a cult classic at the time. I think it was released and then sort of forgotten about. It's got like an R&B flavor to it. Lynn Christopher has a beautiful voice. At times it reminds me, it's like the same timbre as Karen Carpenter. And it's got that same sort of like smoky, smooth, soft 70s pop with like an R&B flavor. Really good stuff. As I said, the first time Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley appear, they sing background vocals on 2 tracks, supposedly the songs Celebrate 2 and Weddin'. And as I said, supposedly this is Peter Criss on here doing hand claps for some of the songs. It also introduced legendary engineer Eddie Kramer, who also worked with Kiss. So there's a lot of Kiss connections to Lynn Christopher. I like Janis Ian from the 70s as well. This reminds me of some of that Janis Ian sort of singer-songwriter, folky, smooth, R&B. Just it's a cool album. You got to check it out. So Lynn Christopher and Ghost Ballads. 2 new albums for the collection from Real Gone Music. Check them out, guys. All right, bye.